I would guess prior to the meeting, what most investors thought was important was them announcing a gold currency. And I really didn't believe that was going to happen. I think that was some kind of false flag that was thrown out in front of people. But the BRICS meeting, it's going to go down in history as one of the most significant changes in 500 years.
Bob Moriarty is a distinguished figure who has also made significant contributions as a financial author. Moriarty addressed that the BRICS movement represented a vote against the West-based financial system. Consequently, Russia, China, and Brazil have turned to non-dollar currencies for cross-border transactions and tried to shift currency reserves from the dollar into gold. Moriarty highlights that the BRICS alliance, with 11 members set to dominate 80% of global energy and a significant share of the economy. The BRICS countries represent 43% of the world's population, 16% of the world's trade, and a larger share of the world's GDP than the G7. 19 additional countries are reportedly interested in joining the alliance. Starting January 1st, 2024, Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates will all be able to add BRICS membership to their resumes. If Saudi Arabia and UAE, the largest energy producers in the Middle East, join BRICS, the bloc's upgraded economic clout might improve its chances of deploying alternative currencies. Moriarty pointed to the silver-to-gold ratio shift from 17 to 1, predicting a silver surge tied to a return to the gold standard. With the gold-silver ratio hovering around 79.1, analysts expect gold prices to underperform silver. Gold prices have risen by just around 5% since March 2023 lows, while silver prices have jumped around 20% since their March lows. Now we are presenting you the glimpse of Bob Moriarty insights from his recent interview with Liberty and Finance. Before we continue to delve into this discussion, we request you to subscribe to our channel and activate the bell icon for timely updates.
When they have the 11 members, they're going to control 80% of the world's energy and a greater percentage of the world's economy than the G20. And what's amazing to me, and I'm just staggered that people don't see this, is the West is becoming less of a factor every single day. We are doing so many things that are stupid. In hindsight, the West is destroying itself. And the funny thing about BRICS is a reaction to the actions of the West, not action on their part. It's not China and Russia trying to destroy the dollar. This is the United States trying to destroy the dollar, and China and Russia and Saudi Arabia and South Africa and Brazil and Iran trying to protect themselves. And what's important is not the 5 initial members and not the 6 additional members, but the 30 people waiting in the wings. And eventually you're going to see Greece or Italy or France say, hey, we want to join too. This is a vote against the debt-based system of the West. And it's absolutely important to understand people are not going to see the results of this for years, but it is the most important thing that's happened in my lifetime. The interesting thing is that, again, this is a reaction to the actions of the United States. The United States went out and said we could invade anybody we want for any reason what we wanted. We could steal from people anytime we want. We could put sanctions on people anytime we want. And the rest of the world has said we're not putting up with it. So this is not action on the part of BRICS to destroy the dollar. This is actions taken by the United States to destroy the dollar. And this is actions taken by BRICS to protect their economies and to protect their currency. Matter is, if Saudi Arabia went to a gold currency, it's really a Saudi Arabian issue. You know, you would have to decide whether you want to deal with them and how it affects you. However, countries can independently go to a gold standard. Now, believe it or not, Lebanon and Switzerland had a quasi-gold standard going on well into the 70s. Okay, their currencies were exchangeable in terms of gold. Switzerland could go back to gold tomorrow. The United States could go to gold tomorrow. China could go to gold tomorrow. Napoleon did it in 1796 because he realized that fiat currencies all fail. Now, when all the fiat currencies fail, and this includes Saudi Arabia and Russia and China and India and South Africa and Brazil, somebody's going to say, well, we need to come up with something that's worked in the past. And of course, the only answer to that is gold. When the United States was on a gold standard, the ratio of silver to gold was 17 to 1. It's 84 to 1 right now, which means silver is cheap. People used to say that silver was going to go through the roof because it used to be 17 to 1. That's only going to happen when we go back to a gold standard.
Moriarty believes a U.S. currency reset would demand a leader akin to Napoleon to potentially reinstate the gold standard. 41 countries are interested in returning to a gold standard, which will lead to higher gold prices and a surge in precious metals as central banks clean out the gold market and policy committees re-examine their bullion requirements. New countries are joining the BRICS alliance and increasing their gold reserves, indicating a shift in global economic power from the West to the East and raising questions about the future of the U.S. dollar as the world's default currency. Moriarty states CBDCs won't impact physical precious metals held by individuals while criticized governments for irrational choices. Government backing and regulation may instill confidence, but the historical precedence of precious metals and maintaining value offers a compelling narrative. Let's get back to interview.
I don't think the United States government is smart enough to do a currency reset. The United States government does not act to do anything. It only reacts in a crisis. And it's not smart enough to do a currency reset. If the United States had any sense, they would default on the government debt and go back to a gold currency. But it takes somebody like Napoleon who has good sense and the courage of his convictions to do that. On the limitation, absolutely, and that could be what they're doing with shutting down coin dealers. Okay, if they started doing it with big companies like you, then it would be time to man the barricades. But as far as government confiscation is concerned, in 1933, they could do it because they had some idea of who had the gold. They have no idea who has the gold now. So they couldn't possibly be successful in a confiscation. What they could do is make it illegal to buy or sell gold. And if they do that, it'll just go into the black market. I mean, governments are doing things that are exceptionally foolish, and it's going to boomerang. And there will be a reaction, okay? The central bank digital currencies can't affect precious metals as far as that. If they're in your hands or if they're in my hands, central bank digital currencies have nothing to do with it. But governments believe that having the power is the same thing as having the ability to affect something, and that's not rational or logical. If a Napoleon came along and took control of the United States and said, we're going back to gold and silver, the Depression would last for 18 months. If the government tries to fix it, it'll last for 15 or 20 years. Now, while it's true that the market was hit a high in 1929 and low in 1932. It hit another low in 1937. And there's some issue that nobody particularly agrees on. It took World War II to come out of it. And in terms of the stock market, from the high in early September of 1929, it took until 1954 to touch that level again. So a depression can be absolutely catastrophic, and it can last far longer than people realize. And we've been doing the wrong thing for so long. We need somebody to come up and do the right thing.
Looking ahead, the dynamics in the global financial landscape appear to be shifting dramatically. With increasing interest in joining the BRICS alliance and countries amassing gold reserves, the future of the US dollar as the world's default currency is under scrutiny. How might the growing interest in gold and the increasing influence of BRICS nations reshape the global economy situation? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you find this video informative, don't forget to show your support towards our channel by giving this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay informed about our latest videos covering more interesting topics. Thank you for watching.